Hello, my name is Kate Peterson, and I'm from the University of Minnesota Libraries, and I am the librarian for writing studies. So I want to share a couple of tips and tricks to help you out in writing 3562. The thing I'm going to talk about in this video is the idea of a scholarly peer-reviewed article and an empirical article, some tips about finding them in the databases, and then briefly some of the tools that can help you with making citations. So real quickly, probably to review for a lot of you, a scholarly or peer-reviewed article is a specific kind of journal article, and it's very different than a magazine or a newspaper article. So a scholarly or peer-reviewed journal, again, means something specific, and let me explain how they get produced. So let's say a faculty member on this campus did some research, and they wrote it up because they wanted to get it published. So then they submitted their finished article to a journal. The editor of that journal then gives that article to a couple of peers in that field. So the peers in that field then go through the article, and they make sure that the professor, that the faculty member, that they did new and interesting research, that they collected their data in an ethical way, and that if there's data to be analyzed, that they analyzed it correctly. Overall, that the article's well written, that they're citing the things that they should cite, things like that. So if those are true, there's going to be a couple rounds of revision, but usually then the peers in that field would say, yes, this article should be published. If any of those things aren't true, or it's just not new and interesting and things like that, then that article might be rejected, in which case it won't be published in that peer review journal. So that's one of the reasons why your faculty members might say that they want you to have specific number of scholarly or peer-reviewed articles, is because they've gone through a really critical evaluation process before they've gotten published in those journals. For this assignment, you might even need another type of source that's called an empirical article. So briefly, I want to review what an empirical article is. So an empirical article is a research article that reports research based on actual observations or experiments. And sometimes these are also called primary articles. So when you're trying to identify whether an article is empirical or not, one of the first things to do is to try to figure out, did the author or the person or people writing the article, did they actually do their experiments? And what did they do? As you're looking at the abstract or looking at the article, what you might find sometimes is a different kind of article, and those are called review articles or a secondary article. And that's when an author or a group of authors didn't do their own new research. Instead, they looked at other people's journal articles. So let's say they looked at a topic and they looked at 50 other journal articles, and then they wrote a new article based on all of these findings, summarizing all those findings. So again, that type of article is not an empirical article or primary. Instead, it's called a review article or secondary. Those articles can be really good sources of information too, but you want to know the difference, and you want to know which one your assignment calls for. So as you're looking at our specific databases, I'm looking in a database called CINAHL in this case. One thing you can do is usually look around for sort of limits, and you can usually limit your results to that notion of peer-reviewed or scholarly. So that's at least one way that you can sort of begin to limit your results. And then once you started to find something that looks interesting, what you can do is look at the actual, so I'm just going to click on a title here. What you want to do is look at the abstract and scroll through here. It doesn't need to actually use the word empirical. Instead, you want to say, okay, did this, again, the person who wrote this do new research on that? Okay, and again, I'd want to look at a little bit more in this article to double check that. In fact, I think that this one probably isn't actually empirical. It looks like I picked a title. The journal is called Current Opinion in Gastroenterology, which makes me think like maybe they didn't actually do new research, and it looks like they are maybe summarizing other people's work. So then this might be more of a secondary article, and I would go back and see if I could find more of that empirical article. So let me try another one here real quickly. Okay, and then this article might be talking more about specific people that they're testing and things like that. One of our databases, though I'll just mention real quickly, sometimes our databases do allow you to do a limit to empirical articles, and I'll just show you a very quick example. So in this case, I'm searching a database called PsycInfo. So this database is searching the psychology literature. And we'll wait one moment while it comes up. So what I could do is, let's say I wanted to do research around college students and sleep. So I can put that into my search box here. And then I knew that I needed to find an empirical article. So then I go to this limits, and I need additional limits. And then here under methodology, this specific database does allow you to limit to an empirical study. And I can limit my search that way. If you have any questions about this, though, you can definitely talk to a librarian or talk to your instructor as well. Also, things to keep in mind is that you're going to know it's empirical. It's always going to be long. These articles are usually going to be 10, 20, 30 pages long. They're always going to have a long bibliography, and they're going to be written by a scholar, again, a researcher who actually did the research. Okay. The last thing that I want to mention then is organizing and citing your research. So a lot of our tools have things built in that can help you to do this. So let's see if I can show you here. So back in one of our databases, and you click on a specific article, let's say this one, then here's all my citation information, and then over on the left here, what I'm looking for, or on the right, sorry, is print, email, save, and then it says cite. So then it'll open up a box, and you can copy and paste based on whichever citation style you're using, and copy and paste those into it. So this tool works really well. I think it's actually even easier than EasyBib. EasyBib is a tool you've probably used in the past. But the other thing we have in the libraries are tools that do even more. So tools called Mendeley and Zotero. And I'm briefly going to show you an example about Zotero, but don't focus on where I'm clicking, mostly just focus on the concepts of what the tool is doing. So one of the first things the tool does is it helps you to organize your citations. Okay, so let's say I've already done some searching, and I have found that I found an article and downloaded an article that is sort of right here, and I'm going to drag and drop it into my tool. Okay, so there's the article. Now it's sort of living in my Zotero account, the PDF, and I can get back to it. Then I can just click on this little button, and it's going to get all of my citation information. So here's all the citation information, and then here is the PDF that I can get back to whenever I need to. So that's great. Again, Zotero will help me to organize all of my citations, all of the different research that I'm doing. You can do it for group projects and things like that too. So then when it comes to actually writing, I'm not sure why this is so small, but that's okay. So let's say that I'm writing in Microsoft Word, and I've downloaded a little bit of software so that Microsoft Word can talk to Zotero in this case. So let me make that a little bit bigger. So let's say I started writing my quotes. Then here, I'm just going to click really briefly on this Zotero. It's going to bring me back to Zotero. I'm just going to pick one of these articles. And let's say it's a quote, so I'm going to put in my page number. All right, and then you can see it automatically put in my citation information. And then when I'm ready, I would do that through the whole thing. And then I would go to my bibliography, and I'll hit Insert Bibliography. And then I think it's already doing APA citation because I had already selected that, but you can change between APA citation, MLA, all the other citation styles. You can change before you do this or even afterwards if you did it in one citation style and you needed to change it. So again, these tools are called, the major tools we recommend are called Zotero and Mendeley. And on our homepage, lib.umn.edu, you can find information right here under Citation Managers. So if you're interested in using those tools, there's information there to get started, but we can definitely help with questions. There's lots of help out there through Google and other tutorials, or you can sit down with somebody in the libraries. The last thing I'll mention with either finding empirical articles or anything else or using a citation management is please remember to get help if you need it. You can get online and chat with a librarian 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can give us a call. You can send us an email or come into any of our libraries. Thanks.